Welcome to International Student Brief. The content of the briefing includes: could you benefit from credit counseling? Answer these questions first. Young Japanese trapped by outdated work culture seek greener pastures abroad. Nomura eyes extra $100 million wholesale banking cost cuts. The Brexit betrayal is complete, surging migration is becoming an economic burden. Niger repeal of anti-migration law applauded as one less colonial fetter. Could you benefit from credit counseling? Answer these questions first. Wall Street Journal. Credit counseling may be one way for U.S. households to get on top of their $17.29 trillion debt pile. The counseling services are not just for those who are low income and overextended, but can also be helpful for those with reverse mortgages and families looking to manage repayments and reduce interest costs. The two main nonprofit organizations that offer credit counseling and other consumer services are the Financial Counseling Association of America, FCAA, and the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, NFCC. Services include financial reviews and help with reducing credit card interest rates from around 24% to single digits. However, counselors will not provide debt consolidation loans or dispute items on a credit report. Also, borrowers should not be concerned that being on a debt management plan will hurt their credit score. The meeting will not be reported to credit rating firms, while aspects such as timely payments and declining balances can actually boost a score. Young Japanese trapped by outdated work culture seek greener pastures abroad. South China Morning Post. Outdated corporate culture is causing many young Japanese workers to look for jobs overseas, according to a report by This Week in Asia. Japan is facing a labor shortage and is in need of qualified employees, but demanding expectations and a lack of work-life balance are driving young workers away. One 24-year-old employee said he works a minimum of 60 hours overtime a month, adding that only the first 40 hours are paid. The same system applies to most Japanese companies. Another employee said work-life balance was not a priority for her current job. She said that attitudes towards work in other countries were completely different. There are no government statistics available for the number of young Japanese workers who are leaving to look for work abroad, but anecdotal evidence suggests that it is becoming more common. A chief policy economist for Fujitsu's Global Market Intelligence Unit said that it would be beneficial for young Japanese workers to go abroad and get new skills and perspectives. Nomura eyes extra $100 million wholesale banking cost cuts. Japan Times. Nomura Holdings is looking to make an additional $100 million in cost reductions in its wholesale banking division in an effort to improve its performance. The division, which includes Nomura's trading and investment banking operations, has been struggling abroad, although it is performing well in Japan. CEO Kentaro Okuda is aiming to turn around the company's fortunes after 3 years of falling profits, largely due to overseas losses. Nomura has been taking steps to improve its results abroad, including expanding in the global private lending market and hiring traders in the Middle East. The Brexit betrayal is complete, surging migration is becoming an economic burden. Telegraph. The Brexit process has had a mainly negative impact on the UK economy, according to a business impact report commissioned by the European Movement. It found that 94% of businesses surveyed had experienced negative effects from Brexit. Meanwhile, the National Institute of Economic and Social Research has estimated that leaving the EU has already cost the UK economy 2.5% of GDP. The Deputy Governor of the Bank of England, Dave Ramsden, also recently commented that Brexit had chilled levels of business investment in the UK. The report states that the most significant disappointment for many Leave voters is the issue of immigration, as net migration has surged to record levels in the past 2 years. The report argues that this has created a sense of frustration and betrayal among voters. The report also highlights the economic costs of migration, as high levels of net immigration have been accompanied by a fall in productivity gain. The report concludes that Brexit has not provided the answers to the immigration issue that many Leave voters were seeking. Niger repeal of anti-migration law applauded as one less colonial fetter. Al Jazeera. Niger has repealed a controversial law that criminalized the transportation of migrants from Agadez to Libya and Algeria. The law, passed in 2015, was part of an effort to slow the flow of migrants through the country, but was widely criticized as an overbearing influence of the West on Africa. The European Union, EU, which heavily influenced the law's passage, established a €5 billion trust fund for Africa and provided more than €1 billion to Niger between 2014 and 2020. The EU has claimed that the law was effective in reducing smuggling networks, but experts argue that this merely forced smugglers to create more dangerous and underground routes. The repeal of the law is expected to have significant implications for Niger's relations with Western countries, including the EU. Experts suggest that the move will help the government consolidate its hold on power, while also potentially calming northern factions and aligning with economic actors who feel disadvantaged by recent political events. Vermont police investigate shooting of 3 Palestinian college students as possible hate crime. What we know. Yahoo! Law enforcement officials in Burlington, Vermont, are investigating the shooting of 3 20-year-old Palestinian college students on Saturday as a possible hate crime. Jason Eaton, a 48-year-old resident of Burlington, was arrested Sunday afternoon by federal agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, authorities said. How to apply for student loan forgiveness, and scams to watch out for. The Independent. The U.S. Supreme Court has blocked President Biden's plans to provide up to $20,000 of student loan forgiveness, meaning the current plan remains in place. Under the current plan, 4 different income-driven repayment plans are available, with each plan having its own eligibility requirements. Borrowers may be eligible for loan forgiveness if their federal student loans are not fully repaid at the end of the repayment period. The application period for student loan forgiveness closes on December 31, 2023. Students should be cautious of scams, with the federal student aid warning against providing login information and being wary of promises that seem too good to be true. Japan e-retailers extend reach abroad with payment, translation help. Nikkei Asia. Services that help Japanese retailers handle online orders from overseas are growing in popularity as small businesses look to tap into foreign demand driven by a weak yen. Benos, one of the major players in this sector, offers a range of services to help retailers sell their products overseas, including website translation, shipping, and customer service. The company also helps retailers overcome the challenge of translating their websites into different languages by offering a solution that combines automated translations with human expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6 Degrees world, here to bring you the latest news and analysis from around the globe. Today, we have a diverse range of stories that touch on various topics from finance to culture. Let's dive in. In the world of personal finance, credit counseling is gaining attention as a potential solution for U.S. households struggling with debt. The Financial Counseling Association of America and the National Foundation for Credit Counseling offer services that can help reduce credit card interest rates and manage repayments. It's important to note that participating in a debt management plan will not hurt your credit score and can even boost it. So, if you're drowning in debt, credit counseling might be worth considering. Moving on to Japan, it seems that many young workers are seeking greener pastures abroad due to outdated work culture and a lack of work-life balance. Long hours and demanding expectations are driving these individuals away from their home country. And while there are no official statistics on the number of young Japanese workers leaving to find work overseas, anecdotal evidence suggests that it's becoming more common. Perhaps a change of scenery and perspective could benefit these young workers and help them acquire new skills. Shifting gears to the corporate world, Nomura Holdings, a major Japanese financial institution, is aiming to make additional cost reductions in its wholesale banking division. CEO Kentaro Okuda is looking to turn around the company's fortunes after years of falling profits, particularly in overseas operations. Nomura is taking steps to improve its results abroad, including expanding in the global private lending market and hiring traders in the Middle East. It'll be interesting to see if these efforts can bring about the desired improvements. Now, let's talk about Brexit. A recent report commissioned by the European Movement suggests that the Brexit process has had a predominantly negative impact on the UK economy. Businesses surveyed in the report cited negative effects, and the UK economy has already lost an estimated 2.5% of GDP due to Brexit. The issue of immigration seems to be a significant disappointment for many Leave voters, as net migration has surged to record levels in the past 2 years. The report argues that this has created a sense of frustration and betrayal among voters. It's clear that Brexit has not provided the answers to the immigration issue that many were seeking. In Africa, Niger has repealed a controversial law that criminalized the transportation of migrants from Agadez to Libya and Algeria. The law, which was seen as a Western influence on Africa, had been criticized for forcing smugglers to create more dangerous routes. The repeal of the law is expected to have significant implications for Niger's relations with Western countries, including the European Union. It's a move that could consolidate the government's power and potentially calm factions in the north. Moving to the U.S., law enforcement officials are investigating the shooting of 3 Palestinian college students in Burlington, Vermont, as a possible hate crime. It's a disturbing incident that highlights the need for continued efforts to combat hate and discrimination. On a lighter note, for those dealing with student loans, the U.S. Supreme Court has blocked President Biden's plans for loan forgiveness, meaning the current plan remains in place. There are different income-driven repayment plans available, and borrowers may be eligible for loan forgiveness if their federal student loans are not fully repaid at the end of the repayment period. However, students should be cautious of scams and promises that seem too good to be true. Lastly, in Japan, e-retailers are expanding their reach abroad with the help of payment and translation services. With a weak yen driving foreign demand, small businesses are looking to tap into international markets. Companies like Benos offer solutions that include website translation, shipping, and customer service, helping retailers overcome language barriers and expand globally. And there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour of today's news. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you have any questions or insights? The floor is yours. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.